Welcome to the 44th episode of the MC Knitting Adventures podcast. My name's Colleen.
And my name is May. Welcome to the returning viewers, and for those of you watching us for the first time, we're glad you could join us. Today's adventure takes us to Cedar, Michigan. Really excited to share that with you. But before we begin, Colleen will talk about what we're wearing.
We are both wearing patterns by Hilary Smith Callis. She's kind of a favorite of ours, so we like that.
You mentioned her quite a few times.
I do. So you are wearing, and I think you pronounce it, the Aeque cowl. And it's similar to the Anguli cowl, but it has a little bit of, it's got some garter ridge, and it's nice. So this yarn is Berroco Comfort Sock, and I know that you like how it feels.
So soft, throw it on, ready to go.
I know.
Love it.
It's fantastic. It looks really good on you too. I'm surprised I made you something
it even
purple.
goes with casual things. Purple, yes, that's your color. But you're thinking it's yours, aren't you?
Nope, it's not. I made it for you. I'm sure I did.
You can borrow it if you like.
Okay, thanks.
Now, I was going to say that it just goes with, this is just a casual jacket. It goes casual, you don't have to dress it up, but it dresses it up a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah,
it looks really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. So that's you. And we talked about this last episode. This is called the Cruces cowl.
And I said you would wear that this show.
And I did. And so it is in red sock, blue sock, and it's their Superwash Sport. And the colors are mauve, and the silver is called Silver Tips. And it is lovely. This is the one that you do when you seam the ends together. So you Kitchener stitch the ends together. You need a half twist.
Now, this is the one you didn't have twist. You have problems with.
I didn't.
And then you put it on, and you thought, I forgot that.
This is not going to work. I thought it would be okay, and it isn't. So what it does is it makes it lay flat. And it makes it much easier to wear.
So you're glad you did the half.
I'm glad
you took it all out, put that half twist on.
It was a little stressful, but it was worth it.
It turned out nice.
All right. Love it. So that's what we're wearing. Now, before we go on any further, I just want to mention that we had a winner for these brights. That was our 600 subscriber giveaway. And what happened was the person didn't respond. So we've selected another name. And so that is Catherine Fedorf, I'm hoping I'm saying that right. And she was willing to take either set, so the brights were left, so that's it. So, Catherine, if you can just contact us at MC Knit Adventures on Ravelry and leave us a message and give us your address, and then we'll get those out to you as quickly as we can.
Congratulations, Catherine.
All right, so that is what we're wearing, and next we're going to talk about finished objects. My first finished object is the Oyez cowl by Lynn Cristina.
Free pattern, paid for pattern?
Paid for pattern, worth every penny. And what the yarn that I used is the Cuzco Cashmere. Now this is where we got ourselves into trouble. So this has 40% Super Baby Alpaca, 40% Mulberry Silk, and 20% Cashmere.
But you know, alpaca is very soft too.
It is very soft. I would agree with you on that one.
I get those confused. I get cashmere and alpaca very confused.
So it's very kind of funny that these are the colors I like. So I'm going to ask you to hold that up. You'll see how comfortable it is.
Really nice.
Oh my goodness, it is so soft. And I like the openness of it because it's going to just sit nicely.
This is beautiful.
And I really, really like this cowl.
I like the weight of this.
Exactly.
You know, it's not too much yarn.
And what I really like is, that's it. That's all that I have left.
So this is like a one skein or two skeins?
It's two skeins. You needed two colors. These skeins are pretty tiny. They are 50 gram skeins. So you still could get a nice cowl. I really like it. So if any of you ever get a chance to try this Cuzco Cashmere, it's worth it. It is fantastic.
Really nice.
So I'm really thrilled about that one.
Wonderful job.
Thank you.
I recommend that one. It feels nice.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about hats. So I took two different color work classes. One was stranded color work. Things like Farrell color work. And then the second one was Mosaic. So let's first of all talk about the stranded one. And this is the Cherry Fizz hat. And that's by Kate Atherley. And in the class, I made this lovely teeny tiny hat.
And that's your swatch kind of
That's
thing,
my
right?
swatch, and it helped out a lot. Now, the yarns were Starlette by Maxim. because I wasn't sure how it was going to go, and I thought I'd give it a try. So that's
Very
that.
thick.
It is thick because you get the 2 layers of the colors that you're doing.
Now, how long would it take you to do this little swatch? I would think forever with all that little stitching.
You know, it didn't take too long.
No?
By the end of, so we had to learn
Where's the
the
inside?
techniques, and then by the end of the class, there you go.
So you learned a lot from that.
I did. I'd never done a corrugated ribbing before,
Wow.
and that's what that looks like.
Really nice.
So now we get to see the grown-up version.
Wow.
So there
you
it
did a
is.
Good job.
Thank you. It's nice and thick. Now this is acrylic, and I just wanted to try out to make sure that my floats were being carried how they needed to be carried. But I really, really like how this, and it is warm. I know it's acrylic, but it is nice and warm. It's nice and
Well,
thick.
because it's double
Exactly.
thickness. I like how you finished the top of that hat there. Is there a special...
Well, I just followed the pattern.
Oh.
So it was well done. Yeah, I really, really like how it
And
came
then
out.
it's got a nice little trim there.
That's that
That'll
corrugated.
be great. Is that for yourself?
That's up for debate at this point in time. I just wanted to make sure I finished
No, do they make different sizes? Sorry to interrupt you there, but do they
That's
make, do
okay.
you make different sizes, or is it one size fits
I'm
all?
just trying to think. I think that's not true. There's a small, medium, and large in the pattern. And
Okay.
I use the small.
Oh, okay, so this is a small size.
Yeah.
Okay. Looks
Exactly.
fairly big though.
I know.
Small.
Exactly. So it fits nicely, and I
fits
think
you?
that double layer helped out. So
I would put it on, but I don't want to stretch it for one, and
it's all about the hair.
I want to mess up my hair.
So that's the first hat. The second hat, once again, is a Kate Atherley pattern. It's called the Mod Squad Mosaic hat.
Free pattern, paid for pattern.
Paid for pattern. I got it because I took the class. Now, you are the same vintage as I am. Mod Squad, you remember that show?
Oh yeah.
There you go. Some of you will not have any idea what we're talking about. But anyway, I thought May would appreciate that. So once again, there's the baby hat. I'll let you hold that.
Mod Squad was a TV show with
Yeah.
3 young people that were the Mod Squad.
They were detectives and police officers.
Yes. So
Always got the bad guy. So there we go. So that's...
well, you remember more than I do because I didn't remember that piece. I just remember the 3 people.
Well, yes, I guess. Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Anyway, this is another swatch.
That is the
This is where you learned how to do
Yep.
it all.
Yep, and then we got
you did the
into
big one.
the big one. So there...
This wasn't part of the class though. You learned how to do this in class, and then you did
You
this on
did get
your
this
own.
pattern, and you got to start on that
Oh,
big one
okay.
as well. And I really like this one.
Right.
This is mosaic knitting, so it's not stranded. So you're only ever knitting with one color at a time, and you're slipping stitches. And there's a lot of patterns right now that are out there where people are using that slip stitch.
Okay. This doesn't feel, it feels it would fit a little differently. This one feels like it would fit a little snugger. I don't know why. Maybe
Right.
because of the bottom piece.
I think so. I think you're right.
And this doesn't have that. But
Right.
it doesn't feel quite as thick. as
Right.
the-
It isn't quite as thick. You're right.
and it's because you don't
You're just
double up
carrying the yarn. Yeah.
Okay.
You're still carrying that second yarn, but only knitting with one color at a
Right.
time. I
Okay.
really, really liked it.
Nice.
So that's good.
Very good.
So
job.
that's that. Now I have a third hat, and we don't have it here because we gave it to our friend. So this is called Madeline's Cap Knots of Love.
I will put a picture up of that hat.
Okay, and I'm glad. So this hat was made with 2 things. One was the cream is the red heart soft, and the burgundy is the heartland.
That's what this hat is.
Exactly. So I had enough of the heartland left. We have a friend who is
Going through chemo.
going through chemo, and she needed a hat. And she wanted a hat. She wanted it to have a
She wanted to
flower.
have a flower. She's very specific, and
Yep.
she loves this color. This is her favorite color, that burgundy.
Exactly.
Happened to be, and you happen to have the yarn.
Exactly.
So
And
you
so
knit up the hat.
I knit up the hat and got it to her as quickly as I could. So she is enjoying that, and May's going to put up a picture here, and so you get a chance to take a look at it. And she's quite happy with that.
Yeah, she loved it.
Yeah. So I was happy to do that for her.
Yeah.
So that's that. Now my last finished object, oh my goodness, there's a lot this time, is the
You've been busy.
the Yuletide socks. And this is by K.F. Jones of the Bakery Bears.
Paid for pattern? I don't know why I'm into the paid for, not paid for patterns. But I am.
It is a paid for pattern. So I am on Patreon with the Bakery Bears. So I pay a certain amount every month. They have tutorials and patterns and all kinds of good things. And this was one that she did as every second day. So every 2 days, you got a new part of the pattern. And I was amazed that I started the pair of socks on the 2nd of December. And then I was just about done. So I just wanted to show you the difference between not blocked and blocked.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so you
Which
can
sock would you rather have?
and to be honest with you, the blocker doesn't even stretch it out that much, but you can see that it opens up the lace. There's all different texture patterns. I used Heritage Silk by Cascade. So there was an ice blue, and then I think the other one was denim. And I really liked the yarn. It was nice to work with. It has silk, so that's exactly what's in it. It's merino, wool, and silk. And you can see, you probably won't see, but if you see this little fleck of white, that's the silk. So there's little parts where that silk shows through.
Right.
But I'm really, really happy with these.
Now these would be great sock for spring or fall. Like,
right.
I'm not sure winter because they've got the lace pattern.
Exactly,
but I think spring or fall, perfect sock for
Yeah,
that.
and I'm really,
Nice
really
color.
happy. And I was very fortunate because there were places in the pattern where you could add more rows if you needed to, but the pattern and my feet, same idea. So I didn't have to do any
Right.
adjusting for that.
Would you recommend this pattern to?
I
to
loved
again?
it. I
Really?
absolutely loved it.
Well, it kind of changes it up. It doesn't become
Exactly.
boring, I would imagine, as a
Exactly.
knitter.
That's
I
right.
don't know anything about that. But
So they talk about knitting socks concurrently. So I do some knitting 2 at a time, but concurrently is you knit the rib, you knit the rib, you knit some part, you knit some part, and you just keep going so that by the end you've got the 2 socks done. And that's what this allowed me to do. Let's take a look at the sock. So the first day was this rib, and then I did the rib for the second sock. And then we did this portion, and then I did that for the second sock. So by the time I was done, I was doing the toe and doing the toe. And so it worked out really well. So you never felt like you had the zillion things to do. But I didn't mind that. You need to have 2 needles though, right? You need to have 2 sets of needles. If you do them 2 at a time, it's just 1 set of needles. But I like it. I like those either way. So
Nice.
I was really happy with that.
yeah, great.
So those are my finished objects. And now, May, let's talk about your finished objects.
Well, we know the picture is one of my finished objects,
Yes.
and that's going to be up here for the duration of our Michigan trip,
Yes.
which was absolutely amazing. Well, I can't believe we're still talking about that Michigan trip,
I know.
but we've visited so many spots. It was great.
It was.
My finished object was, I know last podcast we were talking about, what are some other projects that I could do, and so my brain was kind of there. And then we went to an auction. As you know, I go to an auction. Colleen and I go to auctions because I find stuff for my little booth. And then here at this auction was this dollhouse that was beautiful. And I was bidding on the dollhouse, but it got up to about $300. And I thought, you know what? I could make that dollhouse. I don't know. So I'm going to try and make the dollhouse. But not only at the auction was the dollhouse, it went for $300. There was dollhouse furniture and dollhouse wood and all kinds of things. Here's some of the things that were at the auction, like little furniture like this, little desks. And so I bought a bunch of those at a great price. And so I came home and I thought, well, I have to start making dollhouse furniture for this dollhouse that I'm going to make. And that could be my projects, because not only could I could do beds, I could do dressers, I could do stoves, fridges, I can change it up.
Exactly.
So I think my finished objects for a little while will be the objects that are going to go in this dollhouse.
I think that's brilliant.
I started off by making a bed. So I made a little dollhouse bed.
It's beautiful. You did a great job.
It turned out okay. I used a spec scale 1 to 12, so that it's that scale, and the
Yeah.
dollhouse will have to be accordingly. But yes,
Right.
I made a double bed, and I've made a queen bed for my finished object, and made the mattress. It's been kind of fun figuring it all out, and I'm hoping to maybe sell some of these on Etsy when we get that Etsy store up. But
Yeah, better work on that.
but anyway, I'm gonna have fun with that. And Colleen, because we have a different skill set, Colleen is going to sew the bedding. Like, she's gonna make little pillows and maybe show off some of your sewing skills and also your crocheting and knitting skills. We could to do up the
Exactly.
beds in a really unique fashion. Now, if we were quilters, I don't know if quilters. I had mentioned to Colleen, if quilters could make a quilt, they could showcase their small quilts
Right.
in these little beds.
Yeah, the pieces would have to be little,
Yeah,
very
and
small.
it might be
so-
too much. They could maybe do bigger squares. I don't know, but it might be even for the colors or whatever for a quilter.
Exactly.
I don't know if that would be a good thing for a quilter or not. But I'm really enjoying this. So these are some of my finished objects, and I'm looking forward to making some more little furniture pieces like this. Maybe not quite as good as this.
Oh, I think you'll do
I
a
think these
great
were
job.
factory made. They have little drawers that come in and out. You know,
Yeah.
like little pieces of that. I'm gonna have fun making some furniture
I
with
think
that.
so.
Yeah, so those are my finished objects.
And next we're going to talk about works in progress. My first work in progress is the Multnomah, and it's a shawl. Now I saw this pattern. It's a one skein shawl. It's lovely and green, and it made me think of our Ireland trip. And I had a skein of yarn that's called Camura Yarns and Fiber. I'm not sure I'm saying that right, but we did get this in Dublin actually, and it's called Hills in the Fall. And I thought, hand dyed in Ireland, and I thought, well, if you're going to have a souvenir kind of shawl, this is perfect. Oh, a little bit caught, so I'm going to ask you to help me turn it the right way. Let me make sure we're getting. Yep, I think we're good. So you can see that it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
This color screams Ireland.
It does.
It screams Irish.
And that is part of the reason with a name like
Top of the morning to you.
and with a name like Colleen, what was I supposed to do? So it's good. I love it, and I love the lace work.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm really, really thrilled. This is definitely going to be one of those shawls that when you block it, it's going to make a difference.
It's gonna open up all that lace as you talk about that. Yeah.
So probably what I will do is we'll take a before. Once it's off the needles, we'll take a before it's blocked, and then we'll see it after it's blocked. There were two ways you could make this bigger. You could either just keep on with the garter stitch here and then have the same number of lace rows. I decided to make more lace rows. So they tell you in the pattern how to do that. This pattern is by Kate Ray. And it has to do with a county in northwestern Oregon. But hey, it's Ireland. It's
yeah.
green. I'm happy. It's perfect.
Now it's one skein.
It's one skein. I've got this much left, so I still got lots of lace to do.
I
So
always
I'm
like the
looking forward
one
to doing
skein. I always like the one skein
Yeah.
shawls that you make.
Yeah.
Those are always
I've
nice.
done some that are 3 skeins, and I
I
just
think you drown in it. I think it's because you're so small. You
Yes,
just drown
I'm a
in all
little
this
bit
yarn.
short. Yes,
you look like
I
a
think
big
so.
sheep.
and she means that in,
In
the
the
nicest
nicest
way. So anyway, so that is my first work in progress. Now, my second work in progress is the Up the Creek MKAL. So this is where you have to do that alert. All right, spoiler alert.
Okay.
Now, all the clues are out there. I have to do clue 4, and that involves putting things together. So let's take a look. So you saw these before they were blocked. So here's the first one. And then here,
That's nice.
I
I
really
could just
like
wear
this.
that. You know, tie that around my neck.
You could if I wasn't
Yeah.
going to make a shawl
Yeah.
for me. If you notice, I seem to have this thing about
Purple.
colors. And so that's the second one.
That's really nice.
That was clue 2. Once again, blocking makes all the difference. I didn't used to ever block anything. I didn't even know about it. And there's the third one. So my job is to put them together.
There's a pin in this one. Do you know that?
Yes, because
Okay.
it tells me the right side.
Oh, okay.
So yes, I appreciate you telling me that.
Yeah.
Now, this is all I have left.
Wow. You played yarn chicken.
Yeah, I did. And in fact, I had to undo something. So the good news is this is by the Cozy Up Knits ladies from Grand Prairie, Alberta. Great pattern, well written. I really enjoy it.
Now, clue 4 is how to sew it together. That's a clue.
How to put it together,
Oh.
yes, which involves some sewing.
Okay.
And they did tell us about clue 2 to divide your yarn up so you'd make sure you had enough. And I did that, and then I did something just to make sure I had enough, and then I didn't like what I did. So when I was blocking it, they said the dimensions you needed, and I thought, you know, I can get those dimensions and change what I did. I had added they had said to use some of the other color, and I didn't like how it was. But I got the exact dimensions, so I think I must knit a little looser, maybe, because I didn't do a gauge swatch in this case.
Okay, well, very
so
nice.
I'm really happy with it.
So it'll be nice to see how that sews up
this
together.
much left, which isn't much. I have to sew some things together. They did do some work with tassels, so I hopefully will have enough to do that. And this is all I had left of my lovely purple.
Wow.
That's it. Now the yarn
tassel.
is Zest Fingering by Ginger Snap. And I loved working with it. It's really pretty, and I love the colors together. So I was impressed with that. So that's that. Now, oh my goodness.
More? There's more?
One more. And this is the stressful one in my life. So I decided one can only wear so many shawls. So maybe it's time to knit some, like a garment. I thought, okay, I can do this. And this is where I'm not very brave. I did my gauge swatch. I did what I needed to do. And yet still, as I'm working on it, I'm thinking, I'm not sure it's going to work out. So the pattern is brilliant though, so it's helpful. So it is the Turtle Dove by Melissa Clulow, and that's from Espace Tricot. It's a free pattern. It's a sweater pattern, and it's free. It's really well written. And the yarn that I chose was Concept by Katia, Concept Cotton Merino. And it's lovely yarn to work with. So poor May has had to watch me.
Well, you kind of tried it on halfway, and
I keep trying it on.
I can't wait till you have it finished.
Let's get to
it. Feels very soft, by the way.
It is.
And I can't wait till you have
lovely.
it finished so that I can take some photographs like they did of the last sweater you had on.
So I am thrilled. I've done the split hem. If any of you have done this pattern, if you give me an idea, I think what I might want to do is kind of put a stitch in there because it kind of stretches out at the split hem, but I'm really happy with it. I made it a little bit longer on purpose, and I have enough yarn to do long sleeves, so that's what I'm going to do.
It's really soft, and I can't wait to see it on because it makes a total, you can't really tell with just,
No.
it just looks like a bunch of knitting here, but when you had it on, it looked really great, like when you tried it on, and you know, with the sleeve, the pattern did say 3/4 length, right?
But I'm going to go for full length sleeves because I've got enough yarn. Right?
Does it make sense to have a sweater with 3/4 sleeves?
Well, you know, it looks really nice on as 3/4 sleeve.
Yeah.
We were somewhere. Where were we? In Boston, I think. And I was trying on some clothes.
Were they 3/4 sleeves?
And this person said, the person at the store was helping me out, and they said, you would be great with 3/4 sleeves. And I thought, I've always avoided 3/4 sleeves.
Oh.
So I have a few things that have that, but I think I want the warmth of the full length sleeve. So that's what I'm going to do with that. So that is my Turtle Dove. I love it. So I can hardly wait till it's done.
I can't wait.
So I'm on my first sleeve. I'm using Magic Loop. It's going really well. And so I'm just going to make it long enough, give it a try on, put the ribbing on, and then I'll make sure I do the other.
And I'll get some good photographs. And
well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
So those are my works in progress. And next we're going to talk about our adventure.
Our adventure took us to Cedar, Michigan. Are you ready for this? Population 93 as of 2010. I don't know why I'm laughing, but
it's very tiny.
It's very tiny. But you know what? It's got a real community feeling. Like there was all these little stores and a corner. It's basically like a corner of stores. But it's very north of Michigan. Right. So as you go north of Michigan, things start to peter out, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's right in the middle of a forest. I mean, it's called Cedar of all the cedar trees. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, and there's bears and everything there. I mean, apparently there was a bear that used to come into town.
Oh my goodness.
And then they had, it was hunting season,
we
unfortunately.
Didn't see one.
No, we didn't see one, but there's bears there, and this bear came into town, and it was hunting season, and unfortunately the bear got shot. Not when we were there, I'm talking a few years ago.
Right.
But apparently it's not easy to get a hunting license. I mean, they don't think they just give them out to anybody, so I'm not sure about that. I'm sure they have their own thing about that. I don't know enough about that. But anyway, so it was even signs are on the road were like beware of bears and that kind of thing. We only have beware of turtles and deer.
That's right.
Snakes. It is a Polish community. I think Polish settlers did that back in the 1800s or 1700s back in the day. They do have a Polish store there, Polish Arts Center, which is quite a large store for such a small community, like it's massive. I think the daughter runs that one, and they have another store maybe at Frankenmuth in Michigan.
No, I wrote it down. It's in Hamtramck.
Hamtramck, Michigan?
Michigan, and that's the parents that own that one.
Wow. But it had all kinds of Polish things, like just
I know,
wonderful things.
it was beautiful and bright colors. It was really, really nice.
Now, every July they have a Cedar Polka Festival, which makes sense with the Polish thing.
Right.
And that started in 1975, so in July that's the big thing there.
Right.
Now, we did talk to the people there, and they talked a little bit about where they would go for things, because there's nothing there. Like, I mean, there is things there, like the little Polish shop, and the yarn store of all things, a yarn store and a Polish store, and a little jewelry store, and a antique shop, and a store that does is it a herbal magic?
Herbalist.
Herbalist, yep. So there are things there, but they do go into this place called Leland, which got to visit, which was amazing.
Right.
But back, I just want to tell you this little story. Back in the day, in 1909, there was a picture taken of Cedar. You know, it's in this forest of Cedar, Michigan. Right. And it's all flat, no trees at all.
What happened?
Well, there was a great fire in Chicago in the 1879 or 18, something like that, late 1800s.
Okay.
And they had to rebuild Chicago after this great fire because it wiped out the whole of Chicago.
Right.
And they needed all this lumber and everything, so they were taking it from this cedar forest, like not just there, but all over to rebuild Chicago. So there's pictures of it, but now it's back. As you can see, it's full.
Look at May's picture. Yeah, it's full.
It's full and it's beautiful. And there's a winding river that goes through it, and it's called the Cedar River, I think it is. And it goes right in, it empties into Lake Lanu, and there's lots of fishing and that kind of thing there. And I believe the river goes right into this Leland where we were at, where people were saying, because Leland wasn't in our route. No. And the people there were saying, if you hit as far as you go to Leland. And so we went like 15, 20 minutes out of our way.
Yeah, it wasn't very far. Yeah.
Drove Windy Road. We got to Leland. I'm so glad we visited, and I'm going to put some pictures up here. It used to be, back in the 1800s, it was a milling place and fishing, and it's still a working fishery today. Yes. And the little shacks that they had down by the riverfront, they've all turned into a tourist destination. So little shops, and the little shops were amazing, weren't they?
They were beautiful.
In these shacks, you could actually visualize what it would have been like back in the day, back in the 1800s. Yeah. But the one was definitely a working fishery. You could see they were,
and there was a waterfall. It was beautiful. And we lucked out because it was kind of rainy the day that we went. Right. And then when we got there, no rain.
I know. It was really gorgeous. So it looked like a really, really nice community, and I think a lot of from the little surrounding areas like Cedar and different little areas will go to Leland, and it's very touristy.
Yeah, it was
There's
really
canoeing, fishing. Actually, if you know the actor Tim Allen, I had a show, and then he had the movie Santa Claus, a couple of those. He was actually born in Leland.
No. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness.
So yeah, I loved that little adventure, that little off the beaten track where we went, and it was really interesting to see, and all the little items in the store were really interesting and unique. So.
And I really like that May is adventurous with our adventures, because basically this whole Michigan thing came to be because I said, I really want to go to Wool and Honey.
Wool and Honey is so popular. Like, it's so really huge in this little tiny space. And these two sisters that own it, they're amazing business people. Business women that have taken, like, who knew that this would be a thriving
yarn store
in the middle of this little forest, really. And the fact that they do so much online. Like, I have a picture where I got some of the stuff that they were mailing out. There was bags and bags of stuff that they were going to be mailing out, because they do a lot of online, because I think they're youth and they're young and they're and adventurous that way of online stuff, and they're not afraid of it. So good for them. What a great store. Wonderful. And it was like amazing that we drove so far and we're in woods and forest and we end up in this beautiful yarn. It was like, whoa.
Exactly. It was amazing.
Yeah.
To me, it's exactly that.
Yeah.
So let me just talk about the wool and honey. So the reason why I even knew of its existence was that I watched the Grocery Girls, and they were going to Cedar, Michigan. They were going to Wool and Honey. And I went, oh, it's not far. I can drive to Wool and Honey. May, let's go. So they, I think,
It's only a
went-
12-hour drive. But
They went, I think, in July. We were going in October. Yeah, in October, because I had to finish doing some work. So anyway, so I was thrilled. So the two sisters are Liz, and that's the one who we were speaking to. She's been there for 13 years, and Melissa has been working at that store for 18 years. They have beautiful yarns. They have Plucky Knitter, which you can get updates if you get there on Instagram. But I was hoping to get some Plucky Knitter. So that's that. They have Tough Woolens and Quince & Co. And what you were seeing them pack up, they have something called a Sleeping Bear Yarn Club. So once a month, I think you can do 3 months at a time, but every month that they mail this out. So there's always a picture that the yarn is based on. And they had on the wall, they had, I don't think there were 9
you'll see
ones.
that in the video that I put
Yeah.
in the video. You'll see that there was a photograph and then the yarn.
Yeah.
And I was so intrigued by all that. I took a lot of photographs of that. Those are in the intro video and they'll be at the end
Oh,
video.
perfect. I'm
And
glad.
you'll see that because that was really neat. I thought
the colors are
were
beautiful.
amazing how they matched it up with, I don't know what came
Exactly.
first, the picture or the yarn.
Yeah.
It's like the chicken or the egg. I don't know.
Usually it's the picture.
Usually
And
the picture comes
usually
first,
the picture
and then
comes
they
first,
dye the
and then
yarn.
they pull out the colors
Wow.
from there.
That was
But it was
amazing.
lovely. So here is a couple of things. So there is
So-
their card.
So they have that wall and they had the pictures as you're seeing on that. And then they have the yarn sitting there and very displayed very nicely on that.
Right.
So it was really neat.
So I had a great time looking
Yeah.
at the store. They had some Addie needles. They had all different kinds of yarns, and you'll see that in there. You can go online and you can order online. We'll talk about that in Souvenirs. Some of the things that were in the store were stitch markers, and they were designed by Liz Selly, I think, and she does designer jewelry. So her store was just kitty corner to where Wool and Honey was. And so I was looking at the stitch markers and thought, "Oh, this is kind of nice stuff. She puts together really good things." So that was kind of interesting. So we had a chance to go to that store. We'll talk about that. She was lovely and did all kinds of things. Now you were talking to Kelly, who owns the herbal thing, which is called Lake and Woods. And can you tell me about it? Because I didn't go there.
It was she had just started out and she had all these, herbal kind of
right? Were there,
remedies,
like, remedies and stuff?
remedies and things like that, and really nice conversation. And I just found that she was very supportive of the yarn store, and it seemed to me there was like four little businesses or 5 little businesses,
Right.
very supportive of each other, very positive, and just a lovely little community. Like, really, so I mean, maybe there's 100 people now that it's 2020, but they just seem to support each other and be
Right.
positive and be happy to be there. It was really wonderful.
Exactly.
Same experience that we had in the little jewelry shop that we went to. And the lady in that jewelry store, she made little boxes. She even painted on top of the box to give it that personal touch.
Exactly. It's beautiful.
And the antique store next door to the lady you're talking about, he and his wife did some painting, and he liked to collect nautical kind of things.
Oh,
so he
that
had
would be
ship.
great.
He had ship steering wheels and all kinds of things to do with ships.
Right.
And so really it was absolutely amazing little place for 4 corners. Like,
Exactly.
So if you're ever in northern Michigan,
And in Cedar.
Cedar,
There you
drop
go.
into any one of those little stores. It was great.
Yeah, and we had a nice chat with Kathleen. She was working at the Polish Art Center that you've already talked about.
And she's the one whose parents have the Polish store.
in Hamtramck.
Yes,
I don't
but it
even
was
know how
quite a store for such a small
I know.
community.
It kind of kept going and going and going. So
It was beautiful. Yeah,
lots of neat things. So
there we go.
that's our adventure. And next we're going to talk about souvenirs. My souvenirs, for the most part, come from Wool and Honey. I had a great time at that store. I bought some things when we were there, and then I ordered some things later on. And the reason for that was because I didn't know what they would have, what was available. I knew that the grocery girls had been there in July. I'm in the middle of October, so I didn't know what was going to be available.
Now, how was your experience about ordering online?
It was brilliant. It didn't take very long for it to come. I used PayPal. It worked really well.
Okay.
So I was really thrilled with that. So let's talk first of all what I got when I was there. So I was after Plucky Knitter. It's almost like somebody's on the hunt for something, and it was me, and it was Plucky Knitter. So we have
This is an actual name of a yarn, Plucky Knitter.
Yes, Plucky Knitter.
And it
so
only
this is
comes
called
from there?
Fishtown, and this is called DH Day. So I am going to do some mosaic knitting with that. And I've seen a pattern that will use this as the main color, and that is the contrast color. And it is so soft. This is 75-25. So it's, oh my goodness, merino, cashmere, and nylon. Ooh,
Whoa, how much cashmere?
20% cashmere in there.
Oh, poor thing.
Oh, it's so nice. So
But
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's not cheap. I'm looking at the price again. You
That's
gotta
okay.
start learning to take those prices off so I don't look, shocked on camera.
But that's okay.
but,
It's
you know,
special.
It is special.
It's
okay,
going to
yes,
make a
very
lovely
nice.
shawl.
I love the green color.
Me too.
Yeah,
I was
it's
really
worth every
thrilled.
penny.
Yeah, so they really only had, I think there were 3 colors left when we got there. But I was happy with those 2. The one was kind of an apricot color, which would look
Right.
nice on you. But I thought I was going to make myself
Right.
a lovely shawl
Yeah.
with that.
Good.
So I'm
We'll
looking
enjoy.
forward to doing
Me
that.
too.
So that's that. Then I found myself a lovely pom-pom, which I'll give it a little shake.
Oh.
And it's one of the ones that has a snap on it. Whoop.
Oops.
So the snap comes off. And so then one will go on the inside, that goes on of the hat, and that one comes on the
So if
outside.
you want to wash the hat, you just take off
You
the
can take it
snap.
off, yeah.
It's like a different kind of
I
looking
think it's a
snap, isn't it?
magnetic, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a magnetic thing.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, it's very magnetic.
so I'm happy about that. So I've got to
Yeah.
make myself a nice hat, and we'll do
Yeah,
that. So that's
great.
Now this is in honor of the grocery girls because they have a Tuft Woolens scent that's theirs. It's called Pom Pom Pucker
And you bought this
at Wool and Honey.
Oh, I like that.
So it is a balm, and it's for. It says it is for hand and body. Ouch!
Oh. Did that give you a shot?
No, I pinched my.
Oh.
It's okay.
Oh, I'm going to use some. Is it cream for your...
Yes,
I have dry hands.
it's very special cream.
Anyway, I like it.
Good. I'll order
really-
you some. I'll order you
I
some.
really like
Okay.
that. Okay. Now, was that his price with these? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, was it expensive?
It's okay. I'll make you some.
Curious, how much was that?
I don't even remember. It
But-
wasn't that. It wasn't as that expensive as that.
But
It was
it
just
was
a little
expensive.
one. They had bigger ones, but that was just a little
Okay.
one. Okay.
I'm just curious, but that's
Does
nice.
it feel nice?
It smells good.
Oh,
It feels
good. I'm glad
yeah.
you're enjoying that. So that is that. So that's what I bought when I was there. And so what I was looking for, they had some, and this is called Hazel Worsted. So it's merino and cashmere. And they have this color. So Plucky Knitter makes this just for Wool and Honey. And that's the color is Wool and Honey. So I bought 3. And when you order for the very first time, they give you a discount, which was lovely. So I ordered that, and I think I'm gonna have enough for a shawl and a hat. And I think if I have a nice for a hat, that would be a nice pom-pom for the top, and it'll be in great shape. So I am thrilled with that. So that came quickly. It was a nice order. I got a nice little note in with the package.
Prices are on this too.
I know, it's all good. So I'm gonna have some beautiful things to wear.
You're going to have some explaining to do.
It's okay.
We're going to have to remortgage the house.
No, I think we're in good shape.
We'll be living in our yarn house.
I will knit you up a couch. So those are my souvenirs, and I'm thrilled to have them. Like, I'm really, really excited about that. Now, my other souvenir is from the designer jewelry store. And what happened, you remember a year ago, I broke my finger. And so I had pinky rings, and I couldn't get them over my knuckle anymore, which wasn't too sad.
No.
So
Maybe if I put it on a mattress, we can see what it looks like.
maybe let's try that and see.
And then I can, if not, I can, there you
Take
go.
a picture.
Take a picture.
So it is sterling silver, and it's a little piece of jade on there, and I was thrilled, and that was a gift from you, and I thank you so very much for that.
I thought
So
it was
we'll
really
see
nice.
if that works. If not, I'll try and...
You've been looking for a pinky ring for a while.
I know, and it just, I'm going to hold it up that way, see if that works. Somehow we're going to get you a picture of it.
Okay.
So that was my other souvenir.
Well, there you go. That wasn't too bad.
No, we had a great time.
It was worth every penny.
It was worth every penny.
It was a great trip.
Exactly. Our adventure in Michigan will continue in the next episode, but we had a great time. So I appreciate that when I said I've got to go to Wool and Honey, you were on board, and away we went. So it was worth every penny. The store is beautiful. The people there were great. We got to go to Leland. The people in Wool and Honey actually suggested that we go there when we were that far. So we actually stayed in Cadillac. So we did some things in Traverse City, went back to Cadillac. Went to Wool and Honey, came back to Cadillac. And that's where we stayed.
And then we went to Leland just for a short 20 minutes out of our
Out
way
of our
a
way,
bit.
yeah.
And then back to Cadillac. And then after this, we headed off to...
Mackinac.
That's right. And I'm excited about Mackinac because we've been there before, but I'm excited to share that with you on our next podcast.
There we go.
So look forward to that.
Exactly. So thank you so much for watching. If you like what you're seeing, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below. We like to hear the things that you want to see. If you've got any ideas of places we should visit, that's really helpful to us. And so until next time,
You take care.